Kingdom, it has become a crisis epidemic. Really is affecting everyone here in the United Kingdom. So Sergeant Ben, can you fully introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, good afternoon. Sergeant Ben Dimmock from Bedfordshire Police, and I work in the Community Safety Department there.
Okay, Sergeant Ben, how long have you been in the police force, the Bedfordshire Police Force, please?
I've been a police officer now, coming up to 17 years now.
17 years, oh, that's a long service.
That's
a long service. So you've dealt with different crimes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things, worked in a number of different departments in the police. A detective and a uniformed officer, and obviously now a sergeant as well, and leading on the community safety team. And obviously one of the big things I sort of assist with is knife crime projects and initiatives and operations around tackling knife crime.
Knife crime, okay. All right, the big question is, the multi-million-dollar question is, why do you think this knife crime is rising on a daily basis? Every day you hear that someone has been stabbed, especially the young generation, especially in the big cities like London, Birmingham.
It is really difficult to answer that question, because I don't think anybody can really sort of say why things have changed. When I joined the police 17 years ago, people weren't attacking each other with knives. They were having fist fights. And now things have changed suddenly, and I think this is the culture that we now seem to be living in. But the really sad thing is that now younger people, age sort of 10, 11, even younger, are now carrying knives. And that is a huge issue. It's a huge issue nationally. It's a huge issue to us in Bedfordshire, because we are a very small police force. But it's something that we are now taking very, very seriously, and it is a huge priority for us in Bedfordshire Police.
Okay, yeah, it is a big thing. It's affecting everyone. What has the Bedfordshire Police implemented in terms of the knife crime as the whole force?
We take knife crime. We have an operation called Operation Sceptre, which is a national police operation where a number of police forces across the country twice a year take part in that operation. And throughout Operation Sceptre, we do a number of different activities. Some of those activities include targeted patrols, where we're doing high visibility policing around our hotspot areas where we know knife crime carriers frequent. We do a lot of engagement work, and so working with members of the public, talk to them around knife crime and what they can do to help us. We do a lot of work with retailers, so going into shops that sell knives and talk to them about the security and safety of the sales of those knives. And we also do a lot of work in schools, obviously, because that's key. Education and working with these young people at an early age and talking to them around the consequences of knife crime is a valuable tool to us in trying to prevent that kind of activity. And that's just some of the work that we are doing around tackling knife crime. We've also got a dedicated gangs team called Bosun, and they target habitual knife crime carriers on a daily basis. So every day we are doing something to try and disrupt this type of crime.
Okay, yeah, it seems you're trying your best. Okay, do you feel the young generation, young people here, especially in Bedfordshire, do they trust you, the local police? Do they trust you?
I hope they do. I hope that they see the work that we're trying to do. And I think through the work that we do on social media in particular, we're trying to put out some of the key messages that we are doing to tackle crime in general, but in particular knife crime. And by doing engagement events and working with the community and trying to build up trust with them, that's all we can do. Because the key message for me is that we can't tackle this type of crime alone. We need the support from the community. We need the support from our partner agencies, through universities, through schools, to work with us and to trust us. And ultimately, if we get that trust and we can work together, we can play a huge part in trying to tackle this type of crime.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you have talked about the community. What other agents are you working with at the moment?
Well, we're talking about working with hospitals. We're working with our councils, with other schools, with the hospitals. There's a number of different partner agencies that can work with us in order to try and tackle crime, as in mental health services and things like that. So, in particular, we want as many people as we can working with us to try and tackle this.
Okay, lovely thing. It's a good thing if you're working with other teams so that it goes hand in hand and people can see it outside there. Okay. In your police force, the question I've got: do you have any diversity in terms of staffing?
Any what? Sorry.
Any diversity people from the BME? The police officers?
Yeah, absolutely. We've
yeah.
had a huge increase in the recruitment of BME officers, and something that we pride ourselves on, in the fact that we have a number of different ethnic groups now join the police, which is great to see.
Okay, that's a good thing, because I think that's what a young generation want to see.
We need to be reflective of the society we're policing, and in particular Bedfordshire, very BME populated, and we need to have that type of the same kind of reflection in the police officer that we've got in Bedfordshire.
Okay, the multi-million-dollar question again: do you have enough resources?
If I'm honest with you, no, we don't. We don't have enough officers. We are a small force, yet we have a huge area to police. You know, we have a major international airport. You know, we've got the M1 going through. We've got a number of issues in Bedfordshire that would probably put us in comparison with the Metropolitan Police. And we have, you know, a vastly small amount of numbers. We are doing a big recruitment drive at the moment. We are recruiting more officers, but that takes time. So at the moment, no, we don't have enough officers. And the amount of crimes that we have, in particular, we've seen the rise in knife crime, as you mentioned earlier. This is why I said, is that we can't do this alone. You know, we as Bedfordshire Police, we need the support from members of the public, from the partners, from other people in the community to give us that information and work with us to tackle this, because we just haven't got the people to do it.
Okay, yeah, because I remember 99, early 2000, we used to see many police officers on the street, patrolling on the street, or even near our community houses. We felt very safe that time, but things have changed now.
They have.
Yeah. Things have changed. Okay, so who do you think is to be blamed here?
I can't think anybody.
We're not here to blame anyone, but what do you think?
I just think society has changed. We've moved on in terms of, you know, we do have more of a gang culture than we ever have done. There are more gangs, and we have to say there are more gangs that have formed over the years, and those gangs ultimately will have rivalry and will look to attack each other, and more now people are carrying knives, and that seems to be the way people are defending and attacking each other. But ultimately, you know, the really sad thing, as we said earlier, is that young children are now carrying these knives, and this is why we have to get into these schools and speak to these children at an early age to try and deter them away from that type of crime. And that's why education is a huge part in the prevention of knife crime. That's why we've got to get into these people here. So I can't see that we can really blame it. There's no one we can blame about it. That's just society. Society's changed and moved on. As I said at the beginning of 17 years when I joined, we didn't have this type of crime, or it wasn't so visible then. But it's just the way that society has evolved, and we've got to move with society. We've got to move with it, but look at the way how we can try and prevent it. But as I said, we can't do it alone. We need more support.
Okay. Yeah, on the other hand, taking it from the 99 to early 2000, we used to have many youth clubs, especially in the major cities like London, where the young generation used to go there and spend the day. But nowadays, it's really shocking, because they come from school and then they'll be patrolling on streets and this and that. I don't think it's working for the community.
That's what I mean. You know, community youth clubs in particular are brilliant, because it does take people off the streets and stops them from hanging around in groups and associating in gangs. It gives these young people a purpose. They get, you know, and something constructive to do, rather than getting away involved in that type of activity. So yeah, we do need more focused youth groups to try and, again, who can do some education and preventative work with us.
Okay. So do you think this is a priority for the government?
It is. It's a huge priority, and I know the Home Secretary is going to be sort of doing a lot more work at the moment, talking around what the government's plans around knife crime. So ultimately that's going to have a huge impact on the way we police and how we tackle knife crime. So that's something to look out for soon. But I think ultimately, we're just keeping doing what we can do. It's a priority for us. It's a huge priority for us. Something we're taking very, very seriously. Something we're continuing to try and work on, different tactics, different ways that we can try and disrupt knife crime. One particular result that it's worth mentioning that we had on our last operation, which was a community engagement exercise we did together, where we did a weapons sweep. So we got members of the community, and we did it in Luton, and we did it in Bedford as well. And we had all members from the community, from all different areas, come together, and we went looking to try and find knives.
Nice.
And in Luton, in particular, Hockwell Ring, we found 6 knives in the park in Hockwell Ring, and that was a great result for us, for the members of the community. They were really, really pleased with that, and it showed really united front that the community don't want that in their area, and they can work with us and we can tackle that together. So that was a brilliant result for us.
Yeah, it is a good thing. And I remember they talked about the Home Secretary was enforcing this stop and search. Is it coming back in Bedfordshire, or is just
stop and search has never gone away? I think the trouble is with stop and search, there's a lot of people. There's been a lot of negative press around stop and search, but stop and search has never gone away, and the powers are there to be used. I think ultimately the Home Secretary probably will perhaps give the police more powers around stop and search in terms of serious youth violence and knife crime, but we'll wait and see what happens as a result of that.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to talk about that because when we used to have stop and search, that was 99, early 2000, the crime was low, but it had the advantages and disadvantages because the ethnic minority, they felt that they were being targeted by the police officers, especially the black community. They felt they were the only one targeted, the young generation being stopped every time. Do you think this is true?
It's certainly not true. I mean, at the end of the day, if an officer has the power to utilise their stop and search powers because of a specific reason, then they'll use it. I'd like to think that those powers have never been abused over the years. As I said, stop and search hasn't gone away. Officers are still utilising those powers that they've got, but it is a good thing. We need to do, as I think the police in general and Bedfordshire, we do need to do some more work around stop and search and making sure that we tackle that power and use it correctly, because it is a great power to have in the right circumstances.
Okay. Lovely words from Sergeant Ben Dimmock from Bedfordshire Police, talking about the knife crime, the thing that has affected everyone here in the United Kingdom, especially the major cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, and then taking all the small towns like Luton, the whole of Bedfordshire. Sergeant Ben, what do you think will be the solution? We're coming to the end of the talk. What do you think will be the solution?
I can't see this going away. It's not going to go away quickly, and that's all I can say is that we are taking this very, very seriously. We continue to do so. We continue to make it a priority. But as I said right at the beginning and throughout the interview, we can't do this alone. We need the support from the community. If you hear or see anything, you need to tell us. The community are the eyes and ears on the ground. If they hear or see someone or know someone that's carrying a knife, they need to tell us, because then we can do something about it. We need to get these knives off the streets. We need to work with our schools, work with the university, and work with other partner agencies to tackle, disrupt knife crime, get the word out, talk about the consequences of knife crime, and work to prevent it together. We can't do it alone.
Okay, what about the parents?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, parents are a huge part of this as well. In terms of some of the experience that I've got in terms of when we found these knives in fields and in sort of bushes, is that they are simple kitchen knives. These aren't knives necessarily that are being bought off the internet. These are people's kitchen knives that are being used to stab people. So where are they coming from? They're coming from people's kitchens. So what we want is for parents to keep an eye out on their behaviour of their children. And if they feel concerned about a change in behaviour, ultimately as well, if they look in their kitchen and they see that one of their knives is missing, for example from a knife block or something like that, they need to report that to us as soon as possible. But we're asking parents to keep an eye out on the change of their behaviour. If they notice anything that they're not happy about, please report it, because we can do something about it, and we can try and intervene at the earliest opportunity and try and stop that person from turning into that type of crime.
Okay. And then the other question, what do you think about the retailers, the shops? Because that's where these kids, I know they've changed now. Nowadays they say anyone below 18 can't buy a knife from the shop. But it seems people are still getting, especially you find a young person sending someone maybe above 18 to go and get that knife from the shop. What do you think?
So two things for there. We are enforcing that. So on one thing, we are carrying out what's called test purchase operations, where we are sending our police cadets as part of our force into stores to try and buy knives. So we're testing retailers around the selling of their knives and making sure they do sell to the people at the appropriate age. But also we are going in and engaging really, really well with these retailers. So we're actually talking to them around how the knives are packaged, have they got security tags on them, how visible the knives are within the store, are they under CCTV, are they at the back of the store where staff can't see. So we're really trying to engage with these stores and try and work with them to try and prevent the wrong people buying these knives or stealing them.
Okay, that's a good thing. Hope we might see a decrease in the number of these knife crimes, or we want an end. That's what everyone wishes, an end to the knife crime, because it is not good at the moment. If you on daily basis you hear someone has been stabbed, someone killed, loss of life, especially the young generation, the kids, it's not
these are people's children. These are people's children,
and it's not good at all. It's not good at all. We need to feel safe in our streets, in our community and everything. And then I was going to ask you this question, because like in my local area, they're shutting down the police station. Why?
I mean, in Bedfordshire, they have made the decision to shut a couple of police stations, but that's all down to cost saving. The police, not just Bedfordshire, they have to make cuts somewhere, and ultimately some of the decisions around buildings that could be used elsewhere, or better use of that money. So it's that's not for the conversation for here, but that's part of, again, the cuts that the police have to make, and what the cuts have consequences. So
it's not good, especially for the community. We don't feel safe anymore. If you call the police, it will take time, especially when you don't have any nearest police station. And
that's why there's volunteers for the police are so effective for us. We have Neighbourhood Watch, so you might have heard of Neighbourhood Watch. We have also called Street Watch, things like that. So we are trying to form a number of volunteer schemes that can come together, that can go out on patrols and assist the police. Because ultimately, as I said to you, the public, the community are the eyes and ears. If they can feed back that information to us, then we can do something about it. So we want more people coming together and supporting us in fighting this type of crime.
Okay, the lovely stuff there. Okay, before you go, Sergeant Ben, those were the lovely words. I hope everyone, all the listeners, they got the information about this knife crime, and we all know, let's work with our police. Anyway, can you just give us a conclusion, and just a final say before you go?
As I said, I can't get this message across that we value everything that the public do for us. We want the public to trust us. We want the community to trust us. We are taking this seriously. We're not just sitting there doing nothing about it. We are working constantly to try and fight knife crime with a number of the tactics and things that I told you about. So this is what I want, is that we want support from the public, we want support from the community to help us, and we can't do this alone. But please don't think that we're not doing anything about it. We are taking this seriously, and we want your support to tackle this type of crime.
Okay, thank you very much, Sergeant Ben from the Bedfordshire Police. Thank you for coming into our studios. Yeah, thank you. We'll call again next time. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, up next is a lovely tune from Rag and Bone Man, Human, live on Radiolab 97.1.
I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. I'm only human. Do what I can. I'm just a man. I do what I can. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Feel your eyes.